Mr. Speaker, the committee's findings on each of the particulars of the allegations are therefore as follows. Charge 1, gross violation of the Constitution and any other law. Mr. Speaker, the first allegation was failure to deliver the annual State of the County address for the financial year 2018-2019 to the County Assembly. From the evidence adduced before the committee, the governor demonstrated that 2 annual State of the County address were made. One, albeit, was not delivered in the County Assembly. The committee further noted that there is no county legislation to provide for the content of the annual State of the County address as required by Section 32K of the County Government Act. The committee also noted that there is no specific law that compels the governor to make the State of the County address in the County Assembly. The committee therefore finds that the allegation was not proved by law and it is therefore not substantiated. Allegation number 2, undermining the authority of the County Assembly. Evidence adduced before the committee showed that the county executive has always submitted county policy papers and plans, including the county strategy paper, before the County Assembly. Further, the County Assembly has always approved the annual budgets, which includes the ADP, the annual development plans, the CIDPs, the fiscal strategy paper, the county outlook papers, Mr. Speaker. There is evidence of plans and policy documents that have been presented to the County Assembly, received and approved by the same County Assembly. The committee therefore finds that the allegation was not proved and it is therefore not substantiated. Allegation number 3, violation of the Public Procurement and Assets Disposal Act 2015 and the Public Finance Management Act of 2012. From the evidence adduced, the committee noticed a clear mismanagement of some tenders. And I want to be very clear on this point, that the committee noted a clear mismanagement of some tender. Of the 12 tender listed in the motion, the County Assembly only prosecuted 4 of them. The County Assembly used 12 tenders to allege mismanagement in the county, but they only prosecuted 4. 8 were abandoned on the road. Of the 4 tenders prosecuted, the committee notes that there was clear mismanagement of the tender process, where tenders were awarded to companies whose bids were not responsive or where there were clear cases of conflict of interest. The specific tenders in question include tender number CGK ICT 047 of 2017-2018, tender for the design, development, installation, and commissioning of integrated hospital management information system. Mr. Speaker, in this tender, full payment was made long before the user testing was done, and further, the company awarded did not meet the qualifications prescribed in the tender document. The second tender, Mr. Speaker, was the tender for the proposed waterworks for Mwea Makima water projects, March 2018. This tender, Mr. Speaker, was awarded to Ever Trading Agencies Limited, which was clearly owned by a member of the family, specifically the brother to the accounting officer, who awarded the tender with no declaration of interest, yet he's the one who signed on behalf of the county government. In the circumstances, Mr. Speaker, the committee recommends that investigatory authorities undertake investigations on the same, and the culpable officers, including the respective tender evaluation committee members, be called to account. The committee, therefore, finds that the allegations were not directly linked to the governor, and it is therefore not substantiated. Charge number 2, abuse of office and gross misconduct. Allegation number 1, violation of Section 46 of the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act of 2015. Evidence adduced before the committee showed that the respective tender committees were by law established by the respective accounting officers. There was no evidence linking the governor with the establishment of the tender evaluation committee. The committee, therefore, finds that the allegation was not proved, and it is therefore not substantiated. Allegation number 2 on charge number 2 of abuse of office and gross misconduct. Conferring a benefit to a public officer. Mr. Speaker, from the evidence adduced, the committee established administrative malaise in the management of interest in Kirinyaga County. The committee first took great exception to the county assembly for listing 12 interests paid to the governor and alleging that the governor was issued with interest but never traveled or surrendered the interest. The county assembly, on prosecuting, they only prosecuted 2 out of the 12, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, again, the county assembly brings 12 allegations and only prosecutes 2 and abandon 10, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the governor adduced evidence of the travel, and where the travel was never undertaken, the interest was surrendered throughout the time. The committee observes that accounting officers must adhere to the Public Finance Management Act of 2012, which requires interest to be surrendered within 7 days, and in the event of delay, the refund should be made with interest, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, here, Governor Anne Waiguru was supposed to travel in January, but she refunded the interest in April, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, as a committee, we noted that that was a malpractice and it should not be entertained, and the accounting officer should ensure that such members of the public service should be surcharged in case they don't remit or account the interest. The committee, therefore, Mr. Speaker, finds that this allegation was proved but does not amount to an impeachable offense. Allegation number 3, Mr. Speaker. Disregard of the recommendation of the County Public Service Board regarding remuneration of members of the board of Kirinyaga Investment Development Authority, payment of KIDA board members outside the IFMIS and county government payroll, and payment of interest amounting to more than 14 million paid to Mr. Francis Muriithi Kariuki. Mr. Speaker, evidence adduced before the committee, and we are talking about evidence, nothing less than evidence. Evidence adduced before the committee demonstrates that payment was made in accordance with Salary and Remuneration Commission circular on payment of allowances to board and commissions. The committee, therefore, Mr. Speaker, finds that this specific allegation was not proved and it is therefore not substantiated. Allegation number 4 on charge number 2, violation of the right to health of the people of Kirinyaga County. From the evidence adduced before the committee, it was established that there was significant systematic problems in the health sector in Kirinyaga that can be addressed by various organs, including the county assembly and the national government institutions. The committee further notes that the high turnover of health workers in Kirinyaga County and the inordinate delay in the payment of health workers who pursuant to the governor's moratorium resumed work. This issue should be addressed forthwith. The committee finds that this allegation was again not proved and is therefore not substantiated.